Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here today with the currently reading tag. I have been seeing this tag all over BookTube, and I was thinking I'd like to do it myself, and then Melinda from A Web of Stories tagged me, so here I am. This tag was originally started by Charlie Ray. I'll include a link to her channel down below. And the original tag is from 8 years ago. So this is one that's been around a while, but clearly it's really catching on again this year. So we've got 10 quick prompts all about how you read. So prompt number 1, how many books do you read at once? Well, I have to admit, I am a monogamous reader. I only read one book at a time in print or ebook. I do always have an audiobook going as well, so I guess that's 2 at a time, but only 1 in print and 1 on audio. I've been very impressed watching everybody else's currently reading tag videos to see so many people that juggle so many books at once. I couldn't do that. And I like reading this way. I really like to just completely immerse myself in a book, especially if it's fiction. Just completely immerse myself in that world and with those characters. I will say there is one exception. I do sometimes read a graphic novel at the same time, and there I just sort of fit it in the cracks. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, just reading at different times than I normally read. Okay, so prompt number 2. If you're reading more than 1 book at a time, how do you decide to switch to reading the other book? Do you read a certain amount of pages each? See, this is why I can't do this. That would drive me crazy, like to just be getting into a book and then switch to something else. So, yeah, non-applicable. Question 3. Do you ever switch bookmarks while you're partway through a book? Sometimes, but only if I lose my current bookmark. I do use bookmarks. I've got a whole slew of them. Most of them are not anything special. They're bookmarks I got from independent bookstores, from the library. There are a few that my sons made when they were little kids. Normally, I use the same bookmark while I'm reading a book and often on into the next one. Occasionally, though, and this comes to another question, occasionally I do lose the bookmark temporarily and will just reach into my bedside drawer and pull out another one. Question 4, where do you keep the book you're currently reading? I keep it on my nightstand right next to my bed. My audiobook, I use an iPod. I still have an iPod. When Apple said they weren't going to make them anymore, I asked my husband to get me a new one for Christmas last year, I guess that was, before they ran out, because I have so much audio material, music and podcasts and books that I like having the separate iPod. My phone does not have enough space for all of that. In fact, the total of what is on my iPod adds up to more than the amount of memory I have on my phone. Obviously, I could get a new phone with more memory, but I won't do that until I need to. Okay, so my iPod is usually on our kitchen island because I can pick it up as I listen, like in the morning while I'm getting breakfast ready, in the evening while I'm getting dinner ready. I will listen when I'm getting ready for bed, so I'll pick it up from the kitchen, listen while I'm brushing my teeth and taking my medicines and everything else, and then take it back down to the kitchen in the morning. Question 5, what time of day do you spend the most time reading? I read at 2 points during the day. So I have a chronic illness and routine is my friend. The more closely I stick to a routine, the better I feel. And that routine includes an afternoon nap. This is like non-negotiable. It is an absolute must for me. By lunchtime every day, I'm out of energy. Take a nap in the afternoon to recharge. So I usually read for like anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes before my nap. And then again before bed, which is why I keep my book on my nightstand. Before bed, I'll read anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. I like to turn the light out at 10:30. Again, routine really helps me to be able to function the next day. My husband and I do stick to a pretty strict routine, especially me. So in the evening, I put my laptop away at 7:30. He and I watch 2 TV shows together so that I can lie down on the couch. He's in his recliner. And then at 9:30, we usually go up to bed. Depending on how fast I can get ready for bed and what else I've got going on, then it's either 30 minutes to an hour of reading time before bed. And my husband reads before bed too. Question 7, do you read hardcovers with the dust jacket on or off? I know this is a very polarizing issue on BookTube, but I do leave my dust jacket on. This is the book I'm currently reading, almost finished with. I like the feel of a dust jacket, especially if it's got embossing on it. I like the feel of it. This one's smooth, but I like the feel of that too. I'm almost done with this book. The dust jacket still looks pretty pristine, so I'm really not worried about messing it up. I guess I'm a neat reader. Question 8, which position do you mainly use to read? I'm guessing that means like the position of my body. So since I do almost all of my reading in bed, I'm lying down, propped up on pillows. So yeah, when I first get into bed, I've just taken medication, so I can't lie all the way down. So I'm propped up on pillows. Occasionally, very rarely, I know I should do this more, but once in a while, especially if I'm not feeling well, I will read at other times during the day. And then I'm on the couch, lying down with my head propped up. Or once in a while, when the weather's nice, out on our screened porch in a reclining chair. I think you're seeing the theme here. I feel better when my feet are elevated and I'm reclining, so that's how I read. Question 9, do you take the book you're currently reading everywhere you go? Well, first, I don't go out a whole lot, again, because of the illness. If I am going to a doctor's appointment, which I do pretty frequently, I absolutely bring the book I'm currently reading, because then if I get stuck waiting in the waiting room or in the exam room, it's no big deal. I just sit and read and I am perfectly happy. So that would be the only time I am not reclining when I'm reading. Question 10, how often do you update your progress on GoodReads? Not very often. I try to remember when I start a new book to add that I'm currently reading. When I finish a book, I on purpose don't mark it as read yet, because I do that when I've written my review. And that way I can link to my review. I have a book blog, so I used to review every book I read. This year, I was really feeling the time and energy crunch and needed more time for other kinds of writing. So this year, my focus was on only reviewing the books that I really love. There have actually been a lot of books that fall into that category this year. It's been a great reading year so far. So I've got kind of a new routine. If I'm not going to write a review, then at the end of the month, I try to remember to go on GoodReads and mark the other ones as read and just put a sentence or two summary in place of a link to a review. I rarely use GoodReads for want to read. I have a whole Excel spreadsheet with like 1,000 books on it of my want to read list. So I don't really use GoodReads that way. I use GoodReads more to connect with other people than to track my own reading. Okay, and finally, question 11, who would you like to tag? Well, it looks like a lot of people have already done this tag, and a lot of people have tagged other people. I think I found 3 people who, well, I know they haven't done the tag yet. I chose 3 booktubers who are all participating in my own Big Book Summer Challenge this summer. I'm tagging Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads, Kat's Novel Adventures, and Mindy's Book Journey. And of course, if no one has tagged you, but you'd like to do this tag, join the fun. And let me know in the comments down below how you read.